I'm Roman Martinez, president of Yellow Cab Houston. We are delighted to serve as sponsors of tonight's event. The Houston Arts Alliance is a dynamic organization that supports our city's arts community in many ways. At Yellow Cab, we view the arts community as a vital part of our city's thriving economy. Just as we believe our services at Town Car, Yellow Cab, United, Fiesta, and Airport Taxi are part of the transportation ecosystem that keeps Houston moving. We are so lucky in Houston to have a thriving visual and performing arts community, as well as a mayor, controller, and city council that understands their value, not only to a successful economy, but also to our quality of life. Oh, and if you need a ride to an opening, a show, or a performance, you can download our Hail a Cab app, and we'll be there in a flash. Please help me welcome the person who always keeps his eye on our city's money, our comptroller, Ron Green.
Well, good evening. You don't have to stand so far away. I won't be asking for any money tonight. I just want to make sure that you all know that we are so excited to have you here today. And I'm going to be brief. I just want to let people know that it's been an honor to serve for the last 4 years. And when we talk about this whole thing about saving money, I tell everybody this is what we do at the City of Houston. We save money, but we also invest in people. And so one of the mantras in my office is that behind every dollar is a person. And when you talk about spending money on the arts, sometimes people don't believe that that is true. And so that message goes out to my fellow elected officials, and I'm sure they'll be recognized later, that when we begin to plan out our budgets and when we begin to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, make sure that we realize that behind every dollar there is a person. And behind all of those individuals, there are neighborhoods. And behind those neighborhoods, there are individuals that are learning. So for us, making sure that we invest in the arts is very important. It is an industry in the state of Texas. More than 146,000 individuals are employed in the arts community. And that is a major economic impact on our community. So as we talk about how we spend these dollars, and as we talk about all of the great organizations that are represented here, and as I look around the room, I see so many of those organizations. I look at the people that dance. I look at people who do the visual arts. I look at individuals with museums such as HMAC and all of the other museums that would not be around had it not been for organizations such as this. So on behalf of myself and all of us who serve in government, I want to continue to let you know that I am a true supporter of the arts. Hillary and I when we didn't have children, we were able to spend a little bit more on our personal art collection. So now I am relying on the Houston Arts Alliance to make sure that we have lots of art to view around the city. But I did want to make sure that people know that the City of Houston supports the arts and that the Comptroller's Office does support the arts. So with that said, I will bring up my good friend and your Houston Arts Alliance chairman, Mr. Mark Melcher.
Thank you, Ronald. I'm always jealous of people that can read notes without glasses. I'm not one of them. I'm honored to be at the helm of Houston Arts Alliance, the agency created by the city to advance the overall arts and cultural sector as well as the creative economy, in partnership with so many of you, the institutions represented here this evening. This is an exciting time for all the arts in Houston. As our city grows at a rapid pace, our cultural sector is growing as well, deepening the impact of our beacon institutions, created in the early 20th century and expanding to include the cultural breadth and diversity of our now very global city. Today we're creating the landscape of the future for the arts in Houston. That future is bright, due in no small part to the leadership and vision, she has vision, I don't obviously, of Mayor Anise Parker. Now in her third term as leader of our great city, it's my great privilege to introduce to the podium Mayor Parker as she unveils her agenda for the arts in her next term. Thank you.
Actually, one of the important things that I can do is to recognize some of my fellow elected officials who are here. I see Councilmember David Robinson over here. David, raise your hand. Councilmember Jack Christie. It's Jack Christie. Councilmember Mike Laster. Councilmember Dave Martin. Okay, we have a cluster of council members all standing together. That makes me nervous. Are there any other council members here this evening? Councilmember Richard Wynn, one of our new council members. Welcome. And I think we have some state reps as well. I know that Gene Wu was hoping to be here with us. Did Gene make it? There he is. Anyone else? It's great to have so many council members, and particularly two of our newest council members, because this is your opportunity to show them and for them to understand exactly how important the arts are to the city of Houston. Now, I'm a big believer in working from data, and fortunately, through our partnership with Houston Arts Alliance and others, we have been able to build the case for how important the arts are to our overall economy. It's not insignificant, and you see some of the, on the banners, some of the facts and statistics. A year ago, we rolled out the business of the arts analysis. Today, we're going to take the next step in creating that bank of knowledge about how important the arts are to Houston, and that is we're going to begin to work on a cultural plan for the city. Now, as the first step of that, and I want to thank all the council members who are here, we, for the first time, passed a 5-year budget in terms of hot tax funding for arts organizations. Instead of doing it a year at a time, I wanted to move that horizon out a little bit with 5 years of funding. Everybody knew what to expect. It gives some stability. But this is now an opportunity for us to think about where we want our arts community to be in the future and have the conversations about it. Is it about investing in more visual art in community? Is it about investing in arts education? Is it about upgrading facilities, or is it about making sure that our universities are turning out the artists who will be writing and performing and dancing and doing all the things we want them to do here in Houston? I don't know what our cultural plan will show. Working through Minette Basil, who's on my staff, and the various arts organizations, we want to tap into the community of knowledge that we have so that we know where we can go over the next few years, and in fact, perhaps the next 20 years, because the last time we did a cultural plan for Houston was more than 20 years ago. With stable funding, with a community that is on the rise, and certainly with revenue coming in to the arts because of robust business in our hotels and car rental facilities. This is a good time to be part of the arts community of Houston. But it's even more important that we have support in the communities, in the businesses, in our political leadership, so that once we come together and decide what we want the next 20 years to look like, we have clear commitment to make it happen. I also want to thank those who decided to take part in the Arts and Business Council. That's something we rolled out last year. After we went out, excuse me, and sort of made the business case for how important the arts were to the city of Houston, we realized, again, why it might be a good idea to have a cultural plan, we realized that there are a lot of folks in the business community who got it too and wanted to support the arts, but didn't really have the entree. And if you're not familiar with the Arts and Business Council, shame on them. And I'll make sure that they up their work. Now, I have the privilege of introducing somebody. I'm a big fan of poetry, and I read poetry, I write poetry, but I think that poetry is best experienced through the spoken word, and we have a great community of poets in Houston, but for the first time, we have a poet laureate for the city of Houston, and it was my privilege to name the poet laureate for the city of Houston. So I'm going to invite Gwendolyn Zepeda to the stage, and I hope you enjoy her work as much as I do. Gwendolyn?
Thank you, Mayor Parker. You guys, I wrote this specially for y'all tonight. We used to go on journeys. A mile's walk would end in green swamps of the bayou or among its cemetery's angels. Another mile would get our little legs to blue downtown, to silver glass, pink granite, gray marble. The building full of books that they would let us see and touch, the copper fountains raining copper pennies, occasional stages with music, with dancers, and mazes underground we could explore alongside well-dressed people just like you. And maybe you were there. We journeyed farther, learned numbers and names of buses that carried us past where we could walk, learned the landmarks, the sculpture like an abstract red Mickey Mouse, the giant wooden puppy in the pines, the soldier named Houston who rides above the hill. We pulled the cords that rang the bells, that opened the bus's doors to improbable scenes. Mansions with rooms high as 10 of us, containing treasures barely watched by placid guards. Palaces where young people lounged in cool air and read all day or played guitars. The walls were etched with names I never read, and maybe yours was one of them. We rode back home or walked, watched colors fade from green, glass, water, to dirt, to gravel, to rotten wood, returned to the heat pushed by box fans in windows, returned to the cold, left harps and violas behind, resubmerged in the noises of our neighbors, sad babies, mad roosters, the nightclub on the corner. At night, I continued my journeys, revisited the colors, dreamed of grand statues and intricate architecture, and imagined myself traveling further. I'm looking at you now. We might talk over red wine tonight, have witty conversations. We'll ride home in cars to green grass and polished wood, and maybe forget each other's names, but that's all right. We live good lives. My journey's been scenic and it had a happy destination, so forget about me. Think only of the child that I used to be, of her brothers and sisters, some of them not even born yet, the ones who won't meet you downtown, the ones who might never read your names. Remember your place in their journeys. You're the one who rides forward and forges the path. Thank you, guys. It is my great honor to represent my fellow artists here and to represent Mayor Parker as your first poet laureate. It's an incredible honor I can't even describe. As an artist who lives and works in Houston, I've been honored by the Houston Arts Alliance multiple times with individual artist grants that help pay my rent sometimes. And so now it is my particular honor to welcome the president and CEO of the Houston Arts Alliance, Jonathan Gless.
I don't know what to say after that, actually. I need to get back to, I'm going to stop a minute. That was extraordinary. We are so fortunate to have this woman with us. And thank you, Mayor Parker, for making this Poet Laureate program possible. Beginning of your legacy. Well, after Mayor Parker's announcements, I get the honor of thanking sponsors. So before we move much farther into the evening, I would like to again thank Yellow Cab, and specifically Roman Martinez, Fran McFerrin and the whole team at the Hobby Center, Cordua Catering, and specifically Michael Cordua. Michael, are you here tonight? Where are you, Michael? Thank you so much. Michael is a wonderful, wonderful patron of the arts, very active in so many of our arts organizations, and we really appreciate your leadership. Thank you. Excuse me. I also have the great pleasure of introducing a few of our colleagues. For those of you who are elected officials here, you have many of the arts leadership in this room this evening. You have organizational directors, curators, artistic directors, you have individual artists, you have art dealers, you have artists, you have academics, you have so many. Are we losing it again? Can you hear? We have so many of representatives of the arts community here. So electeds, please take time and introduce yourselves. And for those of you, my colleagues, this is really meant to be an opportunity for us to know our electeds on a very personal level. I can say, and I've said this before, this body of elected officials is one of the most thoughtful, art-supportive body of elected officials I've worked with in any city and that I've worked with across the country. And I've said that many, many, many times, Mayor Parker. So please, spend some time together. I also want to introduce Bonna Cole. Bonna, where are you? Bonna is the new ED at Asia Society. Bonna, welcome. And Ann Graham is here with us. Ann is the new executive director of the Texans for the Arts, our state's arts advocacy organization based in Austin. If you don't know Ann, please get to know her. She is on the streets every day in Austin, working to protect our arts funding for both the TCA and HOT funding. So please take some time to get to know her. Ann, where are you? There she is, right back there. Thank you for driving in from Austin this evening. I also, whoops. There we go, how's that? Okay. I also need to make a special thanks to Minette Basil, the Mayor's Assistant for Cultural Affairs. Minette works tirelessly every day inside City Hall to advance our agenda, and we appreciate it, Minette. Finally, I want to thank Mayor Parker again. She has set forth an important opportunity for us, for everyone in this room, and thousands more, to engage through this cultural planning process. We have the great opportunity of setting forward a 20-year agenda for the arts and culture in this region. It's an extraordinary opportunity. It's a lot of hard work. I personally look forward to working with everyone in this room. And Mayor, with your blessings, we're done. Thank you, everyone.